What's going on, guys? It's your man Sham, and this is Sham Goes Global. And as you can tell by the title of today's video, I will be addressing some misconceptions about Africa. So before I get into it, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment below. So yeah, coming from America, there's a lot of misconceptions about Africa. There's a lot of stereotypes and a lot of false things that just aren't true when it comes to people talking about Africa. And honestly, since I've been here for about a month now, there's a lot of things that I've seen that really blowed my mind and just exceeded my expectation. I previously thought Africa was a certain type of way until I actually traveled to Africa. And once I traveled to Africa, it really opened my eyes to how much we've been lied to in the West. So in this video, I'll just be debunking some of the things that's in the Western media that kinda aren't true, or at least I haven't seen in my travels. So the first misconception about Africa is that everybody is poor and everybody lives in huts. That is honestly far from the truth. I'm talking about they have high rises, they have big houses, they have regular houses, and you obviously have those people that live in the slums, but that's just like in America. You got people that live in the poor income housing, you got people that's on Section 8, you got people that used to live in the projects, stuff like that. I mean, of course, you have the good and you have the bad, but the way that it's broadcast to us Americans, it's like Africa is nothing but people living without shoes, people in huts. It's not the truth, it's a lie, it's a misconception. Alright, so moving on to the second misconception is that you'll be kidnapped in Africa. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always a possibility to be kidnapped. Now, you can be kidnapped in America, you can be kidnapped in Europe. So that doesn't change when it comes to Africa. But like I said, I only can speak from my experience. I don't feel any sense of danger, any sense of basically anybody trying to plot on me while I'm out in Africa. It's really a peaceful place, and that's the thing that I want everybody watching this video to understand. It's not like what they show on TV. I'm gonna continue to say that. It's not anything like they show on TV. You shouldn't fear being kidnapped. Now, should you be cautious about the company that you keep? Absolutely. That's anywhere you go in the world. But the misconception is, oh, if you go to Africa, you'll be kidnapped. They'll try to hold you for ransom, blah, blah, blah. If you're from the West, oh, don't go there, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I've experienced. It's nothing but peace, love, and positivity this side. Alright, so moving on to the third misconception, and honestly, in my opinion, this may be the most important misconception when it comes to the African American and African dynamic. Now, this misconception is that Africans don't like African Americans. From my experience, Africans actually love African Americans. They got a lot of things in common with us. We are basically the same. We brother and sister at the end of the day, if you really think about it. And they really just like to embrace us. That's the thing I've noticed. They embrace African American culture. If you're riding around Nairobi, Kenya, they have a lot of African artists on the buses. They have rappers, they have actors, singers, basically anything you can name. They really embrace the African American culture. And that's honestly one beautiful thing that I have to say. And it's really cool if you actually get to talk to an African in Africa, because there is a different dynamic of some Africans that come to America because they kind of get indoctrinated with, you know, the racism side of things, and they get indoctrinated with the, oh, we're better than you, blah, blah, blah. But when you actually come and touch down on the motherland, I promise you it's a completely different ball game. It's easy to talk with them, it's easy to connect with them, and that's what I want the African Americans that are watching this video to understand about Africa. They love us out here. We need to connect back with our roots, and that's what I want you guys to understand. Alright, so the fourth misconception is that you will be scammed if you come to Africa. Now, take this one with a grain of salt. You actually can be scammed when you come to Africa. They'll try to get over on you. That's, you know what I'm saying, that's common knowledge. But you can be scammed in America, you can be scammed in Europe. I know people that scam, I know people that don't scam. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, there's no difference from the African scamming and American scamming. Like, there's no difference. Like, it's the same thing. It's global. It's a global thing. Scamming is just a way of the game for some people, you know? But if you're smart and you do your due diligence, you won't be scammed. If you think something's too good to be true, if you think that something doesn't seem right, 9 times out of 10, just get out of the situation and then you should be fine. All right, so the 5th misconception about Africa is that it is underdeveloped. Far from the truth. If you cannot hear that in the background, they're building big sky rises right as we speak. I'm telling you, this place reminds me of Los Angeles with like a Jamaican twist to it. Like the people and the atmosphere, the vibe is kind of like Jamaica, but the architecture is just like Los Angeles. So when it comes to the misconceptions, what I thought I was going to come to was dirt roads, old architecture, a lot of underdevelopment, and that was a complete fallacy. So they have sky rises, they have big buildings, they have big corporations that actually operate in Nairobi, Kenya. And honestly, what surprised me the most about the development is that they're building a lot of different communities out here in Africa. I've seen a lot of white Americans, I've seen a lot of white Europeans, I've seen a lot of Chinese, I've seen a lot of Indians, but I haven't seen a lot of black Americans. And that's the crazy thing about it. It's like they give us a misconception about Africa. Oh, Africa's this. But when you actually come and experience it, you're like, oh wow, like you guys are out here, you telling us one thing, but it's completely different. And it's just like, you know, I just want you guys to come and experience it for yourself. I've actually seen some black Americans in Africa, like on my travels. I actually seen a couple guys that are from, you know what I'm saying, my state and my city. So it was a beautiful thing just chopping it up with them and getting their experiences about how they like it so far, and if there's any misconceptions that they had. And they told me a few things that I actually kind of, you know, related to. I'm like, oh yeah, Africa is a beautiful place. It's like this. It's really not like this. All right, so the 6th misconception about Africa is that it is dangerous. Now, this is kind of a touchy subject because you do have certain places in Africa that are more dangerous than other places in Africa. Now, if you're in, like, what is it, Sudan or something, shout out to the Sudanese people, but certain areas, you know, if they're at war or if there's something going on with the government, those are places that you probably want to avoid. But on the other hand, there are places in Africa that are beautiful. The people are so humble, the people are amazing, and it's just a complete vibe. So with that being said, I would just advise anyone, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, orange, red, whatever, I would just ask you to definitely do your research before you travel to Africa, because there are certain places that are dangerous and there are certain places that are fine. Basically what I can compare that to is like me telling somebody from Africa, oh, America is just this real dangerous place, and it's like, not necessarily. Now, if you're on the south side of Chicago, that's different than if you're on, you know what I'm saying, Beverly Hills in Los Angeles. It's a complete different vibe. So yeah, that's it on that. So moving on to the 7th misconception, and that is that Africa is always hot. Now, don't get me wrong, there are certain places in Africa that may be hotter than others, but I can only speak from the experience that I'm experiencing now. And Nairobi, Kenya has honestly had a mild type of weather. It's like in the 70s, kind of low 80s in that range. So the weather has actually been feeling real good out here. And I think it also depends on the time of year that you come, because sometimes they have like a rainy season, sometimes they have a dry season. You know, basically just do your research before you come to see what the weather should be looking like. But one thing I can debunk is that Africa is not hot 100% of the time. Because Africa can get cold, and it gets cold at night, I'm telling you. That's why like I carry certain jackets and sweaters and stuff with me, because man, I'm telling you, it can get into like the 40s, 50s sometimes, man. And then when it comes to Nairobi, Nairobi has a high elevation, so you know it gets cold out here. But yeah, man, that was just the misconception about that. It's not always hot. And let's go on to number 8. So number 8, we have that you will be eaten by lions. Yo, that was probably the craziest thing that I really could think about, because like I was thinking ideas like, what are some misconceptions that people have? What are some things that people say in America that isn't true? Blah, blah, blah. And that's one thing, man. You will not be eaten by lions. That's just like, that's probably the craziest thing. Like, you will not be eaten by lions. There's no, I haven't seen no lions. I haven't seen any wildlife since I've been out here. I'm telling you, it's just like a regular city. On like the outskirts, maybe that may be more common, But I can only speak from the city experience. In the city experience, you're not gonna see any lions, you're not gonna see any tigers, you're not gonna see any gazelles, you're not gonna see any of that stuff. That's mostly for the safari, and that's maybe like an hour, 2 hours out from the city. So yeah, that's that debunked. So the 9th misconception about Africa is that they don't have electricity. Now, do you see this right here? Do you see that? The lights are on. I don't even need the lights on, but the lights are on just because, man. Like, you have electricity in Africa. Now, not every part of Africa has electricity, don't get me wrong, but I say at least 75% of Africa has electricity. Now, don't quote me on that because I know how some of y'all get, but I would say at least 75% of Africa has electricity, and that's growing by the day. Now, I know you probably seen my video where I ran out of electricity, but that's because it's a meter system out here in Africa. So if you don't pay the meter, then you won't have electricity. You know what I'm saying? So don't be scared like, oh, I'm gonna be living out here and from sundown to sun up, I'm not gonna be able to see anything. It's not like that. You'll have electricity and you'll be fine. All right, so the 10th misconception, and this will be the last misconception for this video, is that you will be robbed if you come to Africa. Now, that can happen. Disclaimer, that can happen, but that can happen anywhere in the world. I know people that have been robbed in Beverly Hills. I know people that have been robbed in Miami, Florida. I know people that have been robbed in Dallas, Texas. You know what I'm saying? So there's no difference. Like, you can get robbed anywhere in the world. But the key thing is use your head, man. Use your head and you should be okay no matter where you are. If you're in a sketchy area, maybe it's not the best idea to be recording with your phone or have your phone out, or, you know what I'm saying, have your wallet just hanging loosely in your back pocket. There's things and there's ways to go about it when it comes to just being safe by traveling in Africa, traveling Europe, traveling in Asia, anywhere, man. You can be robbed anywhere in the world. In Africa, like I said, is no different. With that being said, I appreciate you guys for watching all the way to the end. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment below before you go. And it's your man Sham. And also, I think I'm gonna start a Patreon very, very soon. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm gonna leave a lot of my links and stuff below so you guys can check out, you know, what I got going on. And yeah, we out.